What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. A lot has happened in this new year since I last made a video, but I'm here to talk about it. Let's get at it. So it's a new year, 2021, but the world is still crazy. Nothing changes with the finger snap or the turn of a page in the yearbook. We've had Trump rioters, insurrectionists storm the Senate, kill police officers, people in some of the rioters died. Just a complete mess, completely inspired by Trump. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back it up. First, let's go back to the Georgia Senate elections, and the Democrats won both of those seats. So now the Democrats are going to have a slim majority in the Senate, with Kamala Harris as the vice president being the tie-breaking vote. That's good because it doesn't give the Democrats any outs as far as being able to say, well, Republicans control the Senate and there's nothing we can do. We can't help the people. We can't give you health care. We can't give you stimulus packages. All that stuff that Democrats always like to make excuses about. They will still make excuses when they don't want to do anything. And I have zero faith in Joe Biden. So we'll see once he starts doing some stuff. We'll see. You got to show it to me. But it's going to take that excuse away. So they have the Senate, very important. So that's great. Obviously, nowadays, just anytime Republicans lose, they go into a complete frenzy, and they're seeing conspiracies and deep state and QAnon nonsense everywhere, getting back towards Trump having his rally on the day the Electoral College votes were going to be certified, and basically telling his people to march down to the Senate. And he uses enough weaselly words to possibly get around saying that he told them, hey, go and break in there and try to take hostages. But, he ginned his crowd up into a fervor and sent them right down to the Senate, where his vice president, Mike Pence, was, where a joint session of Congress, members of the Senate and members of the House were all there. And you have these crazy QAnon, Trumpist, demented insurrectionists go and basically try to commit an act of treason, try to overthrow a fair election where there's been no evidence of any voter fraud or any discrepancies. We don't need to get into all that again. So we have a president who just won't accept the results of the election, and he's guiding his party in that direction to just completely usurp democracy. So now, post this storming the Capitol, you are seeing Trump's world start to crumble around him. But before I even get into that, this is the I told you so moment. And unfortunately, I have to do this, and anybody with any voice, my voice is minuscule, but anybody with any good voice has to do this I told you so moment about Trump. As far back as 2015, when he was first coming on the scene as a political figure, you could just look at him and look at his personal history and look at his family's history and see that he was a terrible human being by every metric, even back then before he ever sat in office for a day. And people just wouldn't see it. And through all the terrible stuff he's done as president, and I'm not just talking about his personality, flaws. He's a disgusting individual just on every metric, and he's had terrible policies, and he's continued the forever wars, and he's done and said racist things, racist policies, treated the people at the border like animals in cages. Worse than even some of the negative things that the Obama administration was doing down there. Then with the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor protest movement for Black Lives Matter and against police brutality, we just see Trump pour gasoline on the fire with that. He's an agent of chaos, and these are all things I've said before, and it's not something to be delve deep into now. But it just keeps getting worse. And at its pinnacle thus far, he's incited his Trump cult to go and literally storm the Capitol, to break in and to try to capture and possibly kill or hold hostage members of Congress. These are the things that his followers have wanted to do. It's been well documented online in these QAnon groups. It wasn't a surprise, and I feel that the Capitol Police, unfortunately for them, I think they were set up to fail. And, we've seen the behavior of some of the police on that day was questionable, and some others performed well, or even admirably, you might say. But with Trump, I think, is really behind it all, not setting up the proper forces to protect that environment, because he was actually completely on the opposite side. He wanted his people to go in there and, for lack of a better term, fuck shit up. So unfortunately for the Capitol Police, they were set up to fail that day. And, the ones who could did what they could. Some other ones acted terribly, as is no surprise amongst police from everything that we've seen lately. And it is what it is, The day ended in bloodshed and multiple people dead. And now, fortunately, some of these Trump goons are getting arrested for their little insurrection. And Donald Trump absolutely should be impeached again. To the letter of the law, he was inciting insurrection. It's clear. If you have any clarity of thought, you look at the things he's been saying over months and years, and especially post-election, he completely brought this upon himself, and he's reaping what he's sown. For years he's been sowing shit trees, and now he's wondering why there's a shit storm. And I'm happy to see that even high-ranking members of the Republican Party, as crazy as the party is on its own, I'm glad to see that at least some members have denounced him. Trump has been banned from Twitter. He's most likely going to get impeached again in the House. Probably won't get removed in the Senate. Then there's also some things that I've been hearing with, I believe, the 14th Amendment, that can prove that he was aiding and abetting. That might not be the proper term, but that he was aiding an insurrection against government as an elected official, as the president. And that could possibly make him ineligible to ever run again, since he's just now losing and leaving office in his first term. And anything that he says about now that, I want peace, it's got to be peaceful, there will be a peace, it's too late. It's too late. You already did the treasonous insurrection. Your cult already did it. People already died because of it. So there's no going back. And Trump's just his spiral in this last year has really been astounding, because I had already a basement low opinion of him before 2020 came. Then COVID hit, and we find out that he knew about how serious COVID was back in January, and he was playing it down, trying to act like it was the same as the flu, when we have him on tape saying that he knows it's way more deadly than the flu. Then how he acted with the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor protest movement, and then how he acted with this whole election nonsense and this just complete denial of truth and facts. He's brought everything upon himself, and anybody still following him, I don't know what you're thinking. I have no words. And it's pretty much just been the state of the country in the last week or so. There's just no words for it. It's completely absurd on every level. And there's more people to blame than just Trump. Everything that led to a country where Trump could be elected president, everyone's responsible. The weak neoliberals in the Democratic Party who have had bad policies and weak baby step policies, and both parties shipping our jobs overseas and outsourcing, and just you see the shrinking middle class, the growing poor, working poor, and then a small millionaire and billionaire class who's just amassing more money. And it's just become a powder keg, and both parties are responsible for that. Both parties are responsible for all of the situations that led up to Trump being president. And then after that, obviously Trump and the Trump era of the Republican Party are just completely absurd, irredeemable. It should be shamed. Trump should be impeached. Every effort should be made to prosecute him in all of his various crimes once he's out of office. Even if he gets a federal pardon from himself or whoever, that can't take away individual state charges. And this man needs to be pursued to the furthest extent of the law, and he belongs underneath the jail. Him and most of his family, he belongs underneath the prison, and everything going on with Trumpism right now needs to be shamed into the dirt and thrown away in the garbage heap of history. It has no place in civilized society. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Trump's only in office for another week. Let's get him out of there. All right. Peace, love, and power to all you good people of this home we call Earth. I'll catch you next time.